All right, welcome. Think of this as your mission briefing. If you're the one guiding your company's big move to SAP S4 HANA Finance, then you've come to the right place. Today, we are zeroing in on the most critical first step, activating the core business functions that really power up the whole system. Let's get into it. So, you're gearing up for the S4 HANA upgrade. You know it's a huge step forward, but let's be real, where do you even start? Before you think about migrating data or setting up a single ledger, there's this foundational layer that you just have to get right. And it all begins with something called business functions. The easiest way to think about business functions is to see them as the main circuit breakers for your SAP system. When you first get it, a lot of the really cool advanced stuff is kind of dormant. By flipping these switches, you're not just turning on a feature, you're activating whole new sets of capabilities and making life way simpler down the road. So let's look at the very first switch you've got to flip. First up on our control panel is the function for true parallel accounting. Honestly, this is a total must-have for any company that operates globally. If you need to report using different standards, say IFRS and the local GAAP, this is what saves you from a mountain of painful reconciliation work. And the change this one switch makes, it's pretty stark. In the old way of doing things, you were stuck wrestling with these complex things called delta areas just to figure out valuation differences. But once you activate this function, you're suddenly in a world of direct, real-time posting for all of your accounting principles. It's a massive, massive improvement in both simplicity and accuracy. So, how do you actually do it? Well, it's surprisingly easy. You just go to the main switchboard, transaction SFW5, find the business function FIN parallel val, click on it and hit Activate Changes. The system will tell you it's going to stay activated and bam, you've just unlocked a core S/4HANA capability. And just by flipping that one switch, you get some huge immediate benefits. You've now got the modern ledger approach for parallel accounting, which means you can say goodbye to those clunky delta depreciation areas. And maybe most importantly, it means real-time value postings for whatever standard you're using. The flexibility is just incredible. Okay, next we're moving on to the big one. If that last function was like a single important switch, think of this next one, EFIN, as the master circuit breaker. This is the one that powers up new features across the entire finance module. Activating EAFIN is a real game changer because its impact is just so wide. Right away, it makes core processes like your financial close and reconciliations way stronger. That means a faster, more accurate close at the end of the month or quarter. But it doesn't stop there. It also injects a ton of new power into areas like asset accounting and lease accounting. And you know how critical those are for compliance and, not having a terrible time during audits. And it even gets into your management accounting by supercharging your product cost controlling. You can see why we call it the master switch. It really is the foundation for the whole finance module. So what's actually going on under the hood here? Well, when you activate this, the system automatically runs these things called BC sets. And what they do is they physically add all the new finance functions right into your menus and configuration screens, making everything instantly available for your team to use. Pretty neat. All right, let's move on to our final key function. This one builds on the others to solve a very specific but very common business problem. This is all about getting some flexibility with your reporting calendars. Okay, here is the classic scenario. Your main company runs on a normal calendar year, but maybe you have a big subsidiary that uses a different fiscal calendar. Before, this was a huge headache because every single one of your parallel ledgers had to use the exact same fiscal year variant. Activating FIN AACI1, well, that just shatters that limitation. This gives you some amazing flexibility. Now, individual ledgers can have their own fiscal year variants. There's just one super important rule you have to remember. The start and end dates have to match up. So for example, you could have a 445 retail calendar running right alongside a standard calendar year, no problem as long as they both start January 1st and end December 31st. So there you have it, the 3 mission-critical functions you need to know about. Let's put this all together into a final pre-flight checklist, just to make sure you've got everything you need before launching your S4 HANA Finance project. Here it is, your mission summary. Number 1, FIN parallel val for clean, real-time parallel accounting. Number 2, EAFIN, that's your master switch for enhancements across everything in finance. And number 3, FIN CI1, which gives you that vital flexibility for different fiscal calendars. These 3, they're your non-negotiable starting point. Getting these functions activated is the bedrock. It's the step that unlocks the true potential of S/4HANA Finance and prepares the ground for everything else. So the question to leave you with is this. Once this foundation is rock solid, what's the next strategic move you're going to make on your S/4HANA journey? And for anyone who wants to go deeper, here's your recommended intel. SAP Notes 2240359 and 2240360 have all the official documentation on which business functions are always on or off in S/4HANA. Definitely consider them essential reading for your mission. Briefing complete.